Uh-oh. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, we are still working on EE6. There's a lot of information here, as you guessed. And that is, I can write and solve an equation. Not an equation. When the variable is given. Okay, and this week we're working on addition and division. I mean addition. I said addition. Multiplication and division. Sorry. Okay. So we've got a fairly good idea of how to write equations with addition and subtraction. We're going to now move into multiplication and division equations. Okay? So, a lot of the same rules apply. So, let's first of all read the problem. The farmer's market is selling bags of apples. In every bag there are 3 apples. Okay? So, the farmer's market is selling bags of apples. 3 apples in a bag. So, we need to first define our variable. So, we probably want to say, well, how about we say B is going to equal number of bags of apples. And now here's the thing, that one was pretty easy to figure out, but what do you think that other variable might be? The other variable. What do you think? Bridget, what do you think?
A equals the number of apples.
I think you're correct, my dear. A would be the total number of apples. Absolutely. Okay? Now, we showed you yesterday how you could use modeling to help you kind of figure out those relationships between addition and subtraction and know how to set up your equation. So the best way to figure that out and see that with multiplication and addition is to use a ratio table. So, in the process of writing our equation, we're going to use a ratio table. Now, you might not always be given a ratio table, but you can create one of your own. Okay? So this is a key to kind of help you. So let's label it. I'm going to say on this side it's B, and that's, again, bags of apples. And then on this side I'm going to say that's A, which is the total number of apples. So B and A, right? So let's go ahead and start filling out our chart. If I had 1 bag, what's the total apples? That would be 3. Yeah. If I had 2 bags, 6. If I had 3 bags,
9.
If I had 4 bags,
12.
If I had 5 bags, 15. Okay? 1 bag of apples is 3. It says here, a farmer's market is selling bags of apples. In every bag there are 3 apples. So 1 bag is 3 apples. So 2 bags would be 6 apples. 3 bags, 9 apples. Okay? So, there we have it. Now that's going to help us, and I'm going to show you how that's going to help us in just a minute. But first, let's start our equation. Okay? We know we have 2 variables, so we're probably going to have 2 equations, right? We're going to have B equals something, and we're going to have A equals something. Right? 2 equations. Okay? But it's the stuff in here that is a little hard to do. Okay? So, let's think about this. Based on our table, B, right here, what would we need to do to A to make it equal B? There's a pattern there that works every time. So if I wanted to go from A to B, what would I need to do? What would I need to do, Jesse? Divide by 3. So if I divide by 3, that's going to give me 1. If I go from 6 to 2, divide by 3, yep. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So So every time to get to the B, it's taking A and dividing it by 3. So B equals A divided by 3, because I went from A to B, divided by 3. So that would mean B would have to equal A divided by 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good. Now, if I wanted to figure out A, I would need to start at B. What would I do to start at B and go to A? Multiply by 3. Does that work? 2 times 3 is 6? Yes. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. So to get to A, I take B and I multiply by 3. Now I could also write that the more correct way and say 3B. Right? Do you see how that can kind of help you see those patterns? So to go from B to A, I multiply. So B times 3 gets me A, equals A. And then the opposite is true. Notice they're opposites. Divide, multiply, opposites. Just like the addition and the subtraction, remember? Okay? Now, it'd be great if that's all we had to do, but that's not really how it works around here, right? They're probably going to ask you some questions about this stuff. Like they might say, okay, smart guy, if you had a truck, has 600 apples. How many bags could be made? A truck has 600 apples. How many bags could be made? Okay, now I know you can figure it out in your head, but remember, a lot of this is about using your equation. Okay, so let's talk about this. Do we know how many bags? Do we know B? No. So that's a question mark. Because it says how many bags could be made. So if it's asking you, then you don't know, right? What about how many apples total there are?
Yes.
How many?
600.
600. Okay, so I want to know B. So which one of these equations do I want to use? Yeah, we want to find out what B is, so we use B equals A divided by 3. So B equals, now I'm going to substitute 600 divided by 3. So B would equal 200, but 200 what? Bags, not apples, bags of apples. Right? Okay? If you go back a few pages to page 83, this is the same thing you did with the formulas. Remember our steps here? You needed to write the formula, you need to substitute, you need to solve, and label. Those 4 steps. That's exactly what I did right here. I wrote the formula or equation, I substituted, I solved, and then I labeled. Okay? So now, let's talk about another question. What if they said, if the market sold 25 bags, how many apples did they sell? Okay? So again, pick out what you know. Okay? Do you know how many bags of apples they sold? Do you know what B equals?
Yes.
25. Do we know what A equals, the total?
No.
No. So that's what we're trying to find out. So if we look at our 2 equations, I want to know what A is, so I'm going to probably use that equation. So I would say A equals 3B, 3 times B. I wrote my formula, or my equation, right? So then A would equal 3 times 25, I substituted. So A would equal 75 what? Apples. Total, right? Okay, does that make sense? Okay, excellent.